I think that the people in charge need to do better at explaining why these rules exist beyond just because I said so. There are a lot of rules in today's workplaces and such that seem kind of arbitrary on the surface, but if you actually dig into it, there are actually good reasons for this. I want to first show you this clip from Dad Saves America, where Rudyard Lynch, who in a past video I called Rudyard, I forget the Kipling. Yeah, I accidentally called him Rudyard Kipling. In case I forgot to put a note on that video, this is my this is me apologizing for that now, and I want to play this clip and I'll talk more about what I mean.
Yes, where if you express agency in most low-level jobs, they actively punish you for any agency. Let's say I work at a warehouse and I put my AirPods in to listen to history books. That's very important to me. It has no effect on them because I'm still gonna get the job done. They'll say I can't listen to the AirPods because that it doesn't fit a corporate policy. That's the exact kind of thing that
Have you worked in any of these jobs? Where are you getting this from?
So my best friend worked at he worked at Dunkin' Donuts. He worked as a janitor. He worked at UPS.
I
He's also my age as well.
I Here's what I'm sort
Yeah.
of like struggling with.
Yeah.
And this is like because I worked a lot of.
I worked as a janitor at my mom's brewery. I also worked at a security company, and I've done various other stuff.
Yeah, I've waited a lot of
Yeah.
tables. I've worked in warehouses. And then worked in television, which at the entry point
There's
of it
something
is
I'm leaving out that
yeah.
I need to
But
throw this in before
please
the
go
conversation
ahead.
goes somewhere else. These jobs are tolerable if they're a rite of passage. They're not tolerable if there's not social mobility. Where if it's something you do when you're a teenager and then make some cash, that's fine. When you're doing it after a long period of time, it becomes completely intolerable. Especially one of the things I've said in a lot of podcasts with the incel revolution and stuff is that if these issues weren't hitting elite aspirant high agency men, they wouldn't be that bad. But the fact that for the dating crisis, as an example, one of the things that I constantly get in for the incel revolution is that if this just affects
Okay, I think you get the point. So, the corporate policy might not actually be as arbitrary as you'd think. It actually has something to do with safety regulations. If not for common sense safety, then the insurance companies. See, I've said it before in other videos, I'm going to say it again. The world is not run by the Illuminati. It is not run by the Jews. It is not run by aliens. It is run by insurance companies. Insurance companies of all varieties dictate what we, the people, are able to do. It dictates what company policies are going to be. They can dictate laws. Basically, if an insurance company says, we're not going to insure you if you do XYZ or some factor is present, company, organization, individual has to get rid of that thing to minimize the risk of something happening that would result in the insurance company having to pay out. Like, take health insurance. Some people say that if we had universal health care, everyone would be incentivized to eat healthier and work out because they would have to. Well, Tim Pool says that's something that government funded health insurance could make happen. If you're going to have that, you'd have to eat very healthily. As Bo Raffick would say, eat clean, eat whole foods, because of not wanting to put a strain on the system. Whereas private insurance, yeah, they're told a lot of what they can and can't do there. Like, the whole pre existing condition argument is there. Okay, maybe not the best example because health insurance has a lot of things that they're required to cover. Mostly it's like business insurance and such that I'm talking about. So take the warehouse, for example. the AirPods are not allowed because it is an environment where the person needs to be focused. They need to be able to hear if someone's warning them that there is a forklift coming in, or they need to be able to hear the forklift, because if they don't, well, they could get run over. So basically, if they have the AirPods in the ears, that could block out the ability to hear said forklift or heavy machinery of some kind. Whereas if they don't, obviously they're able to hear it and get out of the way. So I actually have to disagree with him here there, what he said about it not affecting them. It actually does affect them. I mean, even if the managers in question hate that particular employee, the insurance companies make it so that they have some incentive to make sure that they don't get hurt. They aren't prohibiting the use of AirPods because they are trying to punish individualism or anything like that. It's a safety concern, if not because the people in charge genuinely care, then because the insurance companies require them to do that. Same thing with films, for example. There are insurance companies that require certain things before a movie starts filming. Like that LiDAR scanning they use that they can digitally recreate the actor if they die during production to make sure that they're able to finish the movie. Kind of like what happened with Paul Walker in Furious 7. Or an actor has to get a physical every single time they're about to start a new movie so that they can make sure that they're in shape to handle whatever the role entails and make sure that they are actually going to be able to make it to the end of production. Now that I actually think about it, that's probably why Indiana Jones 5, the budget was so expensive. Not just because they de-aged Harrison Ford to make him look a little more convincing for a man a very elderly man to be doing the stunts he was doing. I bet the insurance companies would be like, at the time of filming, this man is in his late 70s. We have to charge this much because of the increased possibility that he might die during production. I'm sorry I got a little morbid there, but that is how the insurance companies look at it. And that's how insurance companies rule the world. Obviously, Disney was more than willing to pay whatever the insurance companies required. That and the insurance companies were able to insure that production because obviously it wouldn't have gotten made. Honestly, I kind of wish the insurance companies had been like, nope, we're not doing this. And then Indiana Jones 5 would not exist. Heck, I almost wish they'd done that for Indiana Jones 4 when Harrison Ford was in his 60s. Unfortunately, the insurance companies were probably able to insure those movies, and we got two unnecessary add ons to what was a perfect ending to the Indiana Jones saga with The Last Crusade. Yeah, that's just another example outside of warehouses. But again, going back to blue collar warehouse work, a lot of safety regulations, it's not really that anyone particularly cares about the individual workers. It's kind of grim. I'm sure on an interpersonal level, a manager cares about a member of their workforce to some extent. Like, obviously, the larger corporation, they just see them as a number. The on site supervisor, I'm sure they care to some extent, but the rules written by corporate, they didn't just pull them out of thin air. They require it because it is a safety regulation, and insurance companies concluded that this is what you gotta do to make sure this doesn't happen, and so that we don't have to pay out if something does happen. The problem here is not with Rudyard and his individuality. No, the problem is that no one really clarifies that's the reason. Insurance companies rule the world, like Tim Pool said back when TikTok was initially banned and then allowed back on, and then the app stores wouldn't host it because the insurance companies couldn't take the word of the president that could easily be reversed, along with the fact they could be back penalized for anything like that. Actually, I'm just going to look at my MacBook's App Store to see if CapCut's back up. Still there? It's owned by the same company as TikTok, so if CapCut is still there, TikTok's. Yep, CapCut is still there. My god, how tempting it is to download it again, except for the fact that it could be easily not available the next day, so I don't bother. Besides, iMovie works good enough for me here. Anyway, you get the point. Rules exist for a reason. I think that the people in charge need to do better at explaining why these rules exist beyond just because I said so. Honestly, I think that should be enough for an employee with the employer. These are the rules of the job. Obey it or get out. Instead, I think it would be much better so that the guys like Rudyard can't keep point to the arbitrary nature of it by being like, the insurance companies say we have to do this because there is a risk of something happening that is bad. Accident prevention. There you go. If not for the insurance companies, then for your own interest as well. So I'm going to leave it here for the video. You let me know in the comments down below if you think I'm being too much of a corporate shill, or if you agree with me that this makes sense. And again, that's not the Illuminati or the Jews who run the world. It's the insurance companies. They rule the world. They decide what we can and can't do. So yeah, give this video a like, subscribe for daily videos. I will see you soon.